Okay, I have an original routine to share with you today. I call it Birds of a Feather Flock Together. So as you can see, I have cards of different values in each of the four suits. And so if you want to think of the different four suits as four varieties of birds, that would be just great. Okay? And as you can see, they're just randomly arranged here. Now, since we actually both saw the cards, why don't we go ahead and just give it, this is called a mange shuffle, under over. Okay, so that will mix the cards. Now no one knows where anything is. Okay, very good. Because we have four different kinds of birds, I thought we would employ four different kinds of shuffles. And you can choose to apply any one of these or all four of these. It really will be your choice. And when you go to perform this, you can actually give the spectator the choice. Okay, so first off, we just need two piles of 8. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we have 2 piles of 8. Now the first kind of shuffle is a very traditional one. It's just called a left-right shuffle. Okay, so which pile would you like me to apply the left-right shuffle on? And we can do it on both of them, but why don't we start with one of them? Right one? Okay, so left-right, just go left-right. With random stacking decided by you, the spectator. You want right on left? Okay. Do you want to do any more of those for this packet? You don't. Okay. Would you like to do a left-right on this one? You would. How many? 2? 2 left-right? Okay. Your choice. Spectator's free to choose any number. How would you like these stacked? Left on right. I believe you asked for 2 of these, so we'll go ahead and complete the second one. How would you like these stacked? Left on right again. Okay. Very good. Now, the second shuffle is, I call it the square shuffle. Okay, so I kind of have to demonstrate it to help you see what it is. So which packet should I work with next? So start with this one. I think we started with that one last time. That's fine. So square shuffle, how does that work? Well, you just deal out, don't go off the camera. You just deal out the cards into a square like this. Maybe we'll put these cards that way. So we have more room. Okay, and now you're free to stack the top row on the bottom or vice versa. You want bottom on top? Okay, that's fine. How would you like these stacked? Left on right or right on left? Okay, would you like to do another one of those on this packet? No. Okay, what about on this one? You'd like to do just one? Okay, that's fine. So you go left, right, you just do them out like this. Do you want top row on top of the bottom or vice versa? You want top on bottom? Okay, that's fine. How would you like these stacked? Left on right. Okay. Now the third shuffle we're going to look at is called the Australian Down Under. And it's a very fun shuffle actually. So which packet would you like me to work with first? This one? Okay. So Australian Down Under. You go down and the next card goes under. Down, under, down, under. Now the last one goes on top. Okay, would you like to do a second one of those on this packet? Your choice. You would. Just one more? Okay. Down, under. Last one goes on top. Okay. Would you like to apply any down unders to this one? You don't. Okay. Well, just realize that that is a choice. When you go to do this for the spectator, they can choose to not have certain shuffles performed on either one of the piles. So yeah, that's a perfectly acceptable choice. So no down unders here. And then the final shuffle is called a mange, and it comes in 2 varieties, an over under and an under over. Okay, so which of the 2 piles would you like me to work with first? Right one? Okay. Now, do you want a mange over under or under over? You want an over-under. Okay, so this is how it works. You push the top card into your other hand, and then I believe you wanted an over-under. So you go over with the next card, then under, over, under, over, under, over. Okay? Would you like to perform any more of those or an under-over? You don't. Okay, that's fine. Would you like to perform a mange on this? You would. Okay? Which kind? Over-under or under-over? And over-under as well. Okay. So we go over, under, over, under, over, under, over. Would you like to do another one? You would. An under-over this time. That's fine. So this time you push the other card into your other hand. Now the first one goes under, then over, under, over, under, over, under. Okay? Now, just for good measure, would you like to perform any one of the 4 shuffles one more time on one of these piles? You can choose not to, or you can choose to have me do that. What would you like? You want the square deal one more time? Which pile? The right one? Okay, that's fine. It's a free choice. It's a free world, we hope. So top on bottom or bottom on top? Bottom on top, okay? Left on right or right on left? Okay, very good. Okay, now the final set of choices are free choices the spectator can indeed make. So which pile should we work with first? The left one? Okay, so I'll put this one up here, okay? Now, what we're going to do is I'm just going to deal out the cards, top 4 into one row, and then the bottom 4 into a second row. And I'm not sure why I keep going off the camera view. Okay, and now you have actually quite a few choices here. We can switch the outer 2 cards. We can switch the inner 2 cards. We can switch the outer 2 diagonal cards, or we can switch the inner 2 diagonal cards. Your choice. You want to do outer 2 diagonal. Okay, so how this would work is this one would go here, this one would go here, and then we need to switch these, okay? And then we'll just bring these together, kind of set that aside, bring those together, set that aside as well. So maybe we'll try to keep them in camera view, put them over here. Okay, and you're given the same choices for the final little packet here. Put them out 2 rows of 4. Off the camera again. So what would you like? Outer switch, inner, outer diagonal, or inner diagonal? You want just the inner one switched. Okay, so how that works is this one here switches with that one. This one here switches with that one. Now, I do want to emphasize that the spectator can freely choose any one of those 4 options, okay? And it won't hurt you as the performer, okay? So you just bring these together, okay? And so, as I mentioned, we would end up with 4 piles of 4, okay? Now just think about, after all of those random choices made by you, the spectator, what do you think the chances are that we've organized these cards in a surprising way? And what would be a surprising way? Well, let's just take a look at what we've done here. Oh, I'd say that's surprising. We have the 4 diamonds together. Okay, so chances of that, 1 in a trillion. Oh, maybe not that rare, but if we get both of these, it's probably 1 in a trillion. Oh, we did indeed. 4 hearts. We're hoping for these final 2 sets of birds to have flocked together, and did they? Yes, they did. Check that out. And then I would think by elimination, these other little birds have found each other, the clubs. How in the world did you do that? You have some pretty amazing choice-making prowess there. Okay. Well, if you do what I did, this will work for you every time. The only thing I need to show you quickly is the setup, okay? The setup of the packet, okay? And then once it's set up, you're ready to go, and you can offer any one of those 4 different shuffles, the left, right, the square shuffle, this down, under, and the mange, and the spectator can have those done any number of times on the 2 piles. Okay, so how to set this up? Well, the thing to do is go ahead and, alternate set, maybe have black, you could have red, black, or black, red, but have the same order for the colors. So I have black, red as 4s, black, red as 4s, okay? So that's great. And now what you need to do is we need to convert this to what's called a Bessie sequence of order 8. Now it's really, really easy to do. All you do is you deal out into a triangle like this, kind of in a clockwise fashion, and then the first packet that you dealt out, you pick up and then stack in the opposite order. Okay, so this is now ready. Okay, you can do the same thing here. Now this is just one way to put these cards in this organization, and it's kind of a slick way to do it. Okay, this was discovered by Warner Miller, one of my subscribers actually shared this with me, and it's a great way. Now, in what sense is it a Bessie sequence? Let me just show you that really fast. So if you just focus on color, red and black, what we have here is red, black, black, red, and then black, red, red, black. Okay, so that's analogous to like 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. That's a Bessie sequence of order 8. And you can see we have a similar thing here. Red, 2 black and a red, and then a black and 2 red and a black. Okay, now it ends up that this kind of organization can be mixed. Let me just show you a short list of some of the main ones here. You can mix this packet honestly in over 1,000 unique ways, 1,152 to be exact, and not harm the organization. Okay, and so I just showed you the left right, the squared deal, a down under, and a mange. Oh, that's all I used here. I could have used any of the others. Okay. Okay, so these are set up as Bessie sequences. Randomly stack these. Okay. Now, what I did was to help hide the structure a little bit, because I did show you the organization of the cards at the start, and you might notice some things there. So what I did was I performed something called the Klondike. So if you feel comfortable showing what I just showed you to the spectator, you can skip this step that I'm going to show you now. So this is still set up here. I performed one Klondike shuffle. So all that does is it further hides any organization that the spectator might think they see. Okay, and I'll just kind of show you that. So this is the kind of packet you saw at the beginning. Okay, so it's a bit more, sorry about that, it's a bit more random looking if you go back and look at the one I showed you. Okay, now we need to get it back to where it was just a moment ago, and it ends up that the Klondike shuffle and a mange, under, over, in this case, undo each other as shuffles. Okay, so I've shown the cards like I did at the beginning, and then I said, well, since we saw the cards, we probably should scramble them a bit, and that's when I did a mange, under, over, under, over. And so what this will do is it'll just put it back in the organization that we need. It will be two Bessie sequences stacked on top of each other. And then all I did was dealt out top 8 cards, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a Bessie sequence of order 8, as is this one. Okay, and now you can put these two packets through hundreds of different mixing procedures and not harm them. You'll be able to finish in the way that I did. And then so after all of the mixing, where spectators making decisions, all we did was, it's essentially another way to either get it into a Bessie sequence arrangement or to get it out of that arrangement. Okay, so let me just show you this. You'll see under the hood now, which will be really cool actually. Okay, so where are we right now? Well, you can kind of see what's going on. See, we're wanting the hearts in one pile and the clubs in the other. Okay, if you remember, I allowed you to switch the outer two. Okay, and I put those together and these together. It works. All the hearts, all the clubs together. Okay, you could switch the inner two, right, like this. Right, accomplishes the same thing. Clubs, hearts. I allowed you to switch the outer diagonals. So if you go like that, and this, and this, bring those together, clubs, hearts, right? And then the final one was the inner diagonals, right? You can go like this or like this. Bring those together, clubs, hearts. Okay, so this is another way to either get a packet of 8 cards into that organization or to get a Bessie sequence of order 8 out of that organization, which is what we're doing here. We're getting it back to, I guess I put it back to where it was. We're getting it back to set of cards of the same suit. or 2 sets of cards of the same suit. Okay? So anyway, that's the secret. I will add a link in the description below to Bessie's sequences and these Bessie shuffles so that you can learn about those if you would like. But this effect is ready to go right now. And if you find that doing those 4 shuffles is just a bit overwhelming for you, just choose 2 of them. Or you could even choose 1 of them. And then you just have the spectator say, okay, I want that shuffle performed once here and then 4 times here. Okay? And most people would think, okay, well, it makes a difference, right? Shouldn't it? If you do it once or 4 times? Well, it almost always does, except when you have the packet in a special arrangement that I'm sharing with you today. It won't fundamentally disrupt that arrangement. So I appreciate you watching, and take a look at other videos on the Absolute Math Magic channel.